Hey guys, Josiah from Quadratic here. On the shelf today we're taking a look at the Eachine VR006, which is a really compact little headset, and this looks like it's going to be pretty cool. It's really cheap and it's looking like it could be a good thing for beginners, so we're going to take a look at that. First I want to say a quick thank you to Amazon Music for sponsoring the video. If you click the link in the description you'll be able to get a free month trial. Just make sure that you unsubscribe from it as soon as you sign up, so then you won't be charged at the end of the month. And yeah, that helps support the channel, because a lot of these things I do buy personally because I'm not big enough to have everything sent to me yet. So yeah, that will help support the channel. And if you're looking for some music recommendations, I'd suggest Future Island's new single, new album, In the Far Field. So check that out. Anyway, let's take a look at this. Eachine have been pumping out a hell of a lot of things recently, and they seem to be leading the way, at least for cheap electronics, and sort of going towards market leaders in a sense of R&D, especially in the cheap Chinese brands. And so it's really nice to see them pumping out things like this, because of course you've got the big goggles like this, the big headsets that they produce, and a lot of people produce, which are nice and they're good and they're cheap and they're good for beginners, but they are like quite bulky and a bit big really. So something like this, you'll be able to see how much smaller this really is sort of really nice to see, especially when we've got all of the more expensive, really compact headsets. Something like this for about $35 really is a nice thing to see, because obviously this isn't going to be amazing. It hasn't got DVR. I'll talk about a bit more of the properties of it soon. It hasn't got DVR, so you know it's not going to be a Fat Shark or an AMY killer anytime soon, but it is the first step towards sort of really cheap and really compact and really good goggles. So don't think of this as sort of the be-all and end-all of compact goggles. Think of it as the very first step on a road towards getting some really decent and also really affordable goggles, because AMY and Fat Shark, they're still like $300-400, which to me is, that's probably more than most of the quads on the wall, so that's quite expensive. But you can spend that much if you want to. So we're going to take a little look at these on the bench and see what they're like. And it is nice to see, like I've said, a bit of R&D and a bit of investment into going towards future-proofing and compacting everything down, because we've got a lot of all the compact quads now. We just need some cheap compact goggles as well. So let's stick them on the bench, see what they're like. Okay, so here they are, and the first thing you'll notice obviously is their size, because these are only 3-inch goggles. If I get the most recent VRD2s up, you'll be able to see just how much smaller they are, and they're also a lot lighter as well, obviously. But there you go, you can see these are really compact, and actually a lot more compact than I thought they were going to be once I got them out of the box. So they're definitely a lot smaller, and you'll be able to see we've also got a lot smaller face as well. So for people who wore glasses, if you could just about get away with it on the VRD2s, you're not going to be able to get away with it, I doubt, on here, unless of course you've got contact lenses. But we've got two antennas, the same as last time, and you'll notice they're exactly the same. They're just a bit stubbier. We've basically chopped a little bit of this cord off here to make them a little bit smaller. But I'm not going to do too much comparisons, because these are a new pair of goggles in their own right, being a lot smaller as well. So you'll see the buttons on here. We have our power on button, and that is because this actually has its own built-in battery. So if we take a look at the box, you'll be able to see the specs on this battery. It is 1S and it's built in, although it doesn't actually say the capacity of it. It says working current here for some reason. Maybe it's between 350 and 450 milliamp hour battery as well built in there, but I'm just not sure. But that is a drawback, of course, with it being built in. We can't replace it. When it drains, we do have to just go and charge it. However, it does charge by micro USB here that you'll be able to see, and we do get a micro USB lead as well. So you would be able to probably, I'd suggest, get a power bank and plug that in if you wanted to keep going once this had run out of charge. And I've not been able to do a full battery test on this, but it says it should last well over an hour at least on here. So you turn that on with this button here, and that is also the scan button, because this thankfully has auto scan, so we can search between 40 different channels on 5.8 gigahertz, which is a nice touch there. If we go back over here, we've also got the menu and the control options. So we're going to go ahead and turn it on. You have to hold it down for a couple of seconds and you'll see that red light flashing in there. Once it becomes stable, you know that you have connected. And we can then take a look. Obviously, because this doesn't have DVR, I can't show you the screen recording capabilities, but we'll be able to take a look in there. You'll notice on the bottom right hand side here we've got a little thing telling us what frequency we're currently receiving at, and also the voltage on here of our battery. So that's quite a nice touch. However, you will be able to notice that it is quite a square screen. This is only 4x3 and it also doesn't seem to take up quite a lot of the screen. It seems quite distant and quite compact in there. I think they maybe should have put maybe two of these side by side. It looks like there might be enough room on there to do that, and maybe sort of enhance the display to possibly 16:9 or something similar, because at the moment these are looking quite good, but it is, as I say, just sort of a square right there, so it's not the best screen, and it doesn't really fill up a lot of your view. But because this is so compact, it does fit really, really snugly on your face as compared to sort of the VRD2 Pros that let a lot of light in. This has got a really thick nose pad on here, so it does actually fit really comfortably. This is a lot comfier than these previous goggles, and obviously because the faceplate is a lot smaller, you're going to be getting something a lot more akin to a Onway or Fat Shark, where you can't really see anything out the side. I've put these on pretty much now in the daytime, and there's no bleeding at all from the edges. So this is really well done on Eachine's part, because you basically can't see anything when you've got these on. We've also got our adjustable head strap, which simply comes off here. You can see it's a sort of claw mechanism grip that you go on there, and you simply just slide it in and out. So that is another nice touch. And of course this is again sort of soft leather, so this isn't going to be too strenuous on your face. And of course, because it's so light as well, that it's not going to have any sort of damaging, sort of pulling your head down when you're flying, whereas compared to this is really, honestly, really heavy compared to this at the moment. But we don't have that balance because of course we don't have a battery on the back, so it is just going to be a lot of weight up the front, but there's not a lot of weight compared to the big Eachine VRD2s, so this is something quite light and quite slimline, so it's quite a nice touch. So if we go ahead and power a camera on, you'll be able to see the quality of that, and I'll go ahead and do that now. Okay, so I've got my Eachine Wizard on just over here, and if we go ahead and press the scan button on the side here, hopefully that should start scanning. You'll be able to see it's got scan in the bottom corner. And there we go, it's found us already. It'll probably go through all the channels as they normally do and then select the best one, but it looked like it did have us quite clearly there. So we'll just wait for it to do that and then go back to the proper channel that I'm on. There we go, and you can see it perfect. So that looks like quite good quality. I've got my big light here, that's what this white is. And yeah, there you can see it very clearly. We've got the band that we're currently on, we've got the voltage like I mentioned earlier. We can also see our on-screen display nice and clearly there, and if I do put it up to my head, it is, to be honest, quite good. It's pretty vibrant colours for being such a small screen, and yeah, you can see me, probably see me in the video. Well, you can't see me actually in the video because you can just see the white table, can't you? That was stupid of me. So yeah, it is, you'll be able to see on the camera possibly a little bit. It is a pretty good quality image. So if we go into the menu and I press that menu button, we'll be able to see, we can change the brightness. So I'll make that as bright as it'll go, and you might be able to see it better. Or that might, actually that's probably going to whitewash it, isn't it? So we've also got contrast, of course. I don't know why these aren't set at 50 unless they don't go, no, they only go to 60 for some reason. Okay. We've also got saturation, input, because I didn't mention that we do actually have a video input, and we get a lead for that as well. So you can go ahead and connect a video input here. We can't get video out, unfortunately, so we can't connect a DVR to this unless you want to take it apart and do your own soldering. But we can, of course, put video in. So if we want to maybe watch a video or give it to our kids and get them to watch something on it, sort of like a VR headset, I'm sure people will find that pretty cool, then we do have video in. But very limited menu, especially compared to the VRD2 Pros that had a huge menu with a lot of different settings. So we can't change between PAL or NTSC on here, and we can't sort of do a lot of other things as well. However, if we do plus or minus, I'm sure we'll be able to change. You can see we're changing the frequency there. So if you want to manually adjust it, you can do that. So all in all, not a bad headset for $35. I don't like the lack of DVR, and I don't like the lack of external battery. That is a little bit annoying, although I guess you could get a, like I mentioned, plug in USB, get a USB little powerhouse thing on the top here and connect it to that. But it's not bad. The screen's a decent quality, although it is square, which I find very annoying. It's not very immersive, and putting it up to your head, it's sort of it's good to see, but of course you can't adjust the lens on this like you could on previous ones. So I know there's been a lot of trouble with people with varying eyesight abilities to sort of focus on this, but for me personally, I don't wear glasses, and I can see that all very clearly. Although it would have been nice to have, of course, the ability to change the lens in here, at least swap it out or maybe adjust it a little bit. But like I said, this isn't the be-all end-all. There are going to be a lot of revisions to this, hopefully, if people like it, and then hopefully we're going to advance even more towards getting our sort of Fat Shark or Amway type really compact goggles. So in summary, I'd say this isn't, of course, it's not really comparable to the VRD2 Pros. I wouldn't suggest this as sort of an alternative to that. Maybe as a backup pair of goggles, a secondary pair, or, you know, maybe even a beginner pair if you're not too fussed about DVR, if you just want to get out and fly, and if you haven't got a lot of room in your backpack, I'd suggest getting these, or maybe even taking them along, you know, if you've got kids or if people in the park like to come and watch, or with your friends. Have this as maybe a second set of goggles that people can just view it on and sort of have that experience of FPV. Maybe get a few more people into the hobby. That would be really nice. And of course, if you've got kids who are into this, or maybe younger people who you know that want to get into FPV because you do it, this will obviously be sort of a good suggestion for them, because it's sort of something you could afford with your pocket money, really, and it's not going to break the bank at all. And of course, it's a lot smaller and lightweight than this, so it's going to fit on a smaller person's head as well, so maybe like a child. So this is a lot more child friendly, but by no means just child reserved. This could be used for pretty much anyone, I'd suggest, and a decent pair of goggles, but absolutely nothing to rave about, and not an alternative at the moment to the D2 Pros. But hopefully we'll see maybe the addition of a DVR and external battery on here, maybe a tiny little compact one. I know the battery in here was still quite compact, but that was quite heavy as well. But hopefully we'll get revisions of this from Eachine, and be able to get really, really nice, compact and feature-packed set of goggles as well, because this is a little bit lacking at the moment. Anyway, thanks for stopping by, guys. Thanks for helping the channel out as well, clicking those links in the description, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.